Here are the top stories for today, October 1, 2019. Alleged drug queen Gia Gomez Castro has fled to the United States, according to NCIP Chief Guillermo Eleazar. Indigenous peoples accuse the CPP-NPA of corrupting sacred native words for their own use. And Malacanang calls on all government bodies to support the Philippines' hosting of the 10th Asean Para Games. Good day, I'm Benj Bondok. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story tonight, the National Capital Region Police Office on Monday confirmed that the alleged drug queen Gia Gomez Castro is now in the United States. NCRPO Chief Major General Guillermo Eleazar said they got the information after the creation of Quad Intel Force in Metro Manila, composed of PDEA, NBI, AFP Joint Task Force, and the NCRPO. He said that Castro, who earlier left the country for Bangkok, Thailand, later went to Taiwan and is now in Los Angeles, California. Eleazar said they are now moving to have her passport canceled. Castro has a standing arrest warrant issued in 2002 for violation of Republic Act 6425 or the selling, delivery, and distribution of illegal drugs. She also has warrants of arrest in 2003 and 2011, both for issuing bouncing checks. Meanwhile, Malacanang assured that President Rodrigo Duterte will release the information on alleged ninja cops syndicate soon. However, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said he had no knowledge about when Duterte would release information regarding police personnel involved in the recycling of seized illegal drugs. Senator Richard Gordon earlier said that the Senate will let the president do the honor of being the first to bear information on ninja cops ahead of the Joint Committee hearing on the recycling of illegal drugs. Shifting gears now, justice officials welcomed on Monday the petition challenging the validity of the revised implementing rules and regulations of the expanded Good Conduct Time Allowance Law. Justice Secretary Minardo Guevara said he is eagerly awaiting the filing of the IRR petition, considering that some important provisions of RA 10592 have been interpreted differently by various groups. Justice spokesman Undersecretary Mark Perete, for his part, confirmed that the legal challenge was expected, saying that the criticism on the IRR is improper. Perete said there can be no violation of the constitutional Equal Protection Clause in the IRR since heinous crime convicts are in fact segregated by the Constitution itself. He added that the Constitution itself says that heinous crimes convict may be penalized by the death penalty and that the Equal Protection Clause is a valid basis for impugning the basis of the IRR. Meanwhile, Justice Secretary Guevara has already submitted a partial list of heinous crime convicts previously freed through the expanded GCTA policy. Guevara said he already emailed the partial list of those to be re-arrested to Interior Secretary Eduardo Año. He said the partial list has been cleaned up as the previous list contained errors, as it also included pork barrel scam queen Janet Lim Napoles. Some 20,000 pigs have been culled due to the African swine fever or ASF virus. Agriculture Secretary William Dar said that most of the depopulated pigs came from Bulacan province. Out of the 20,000 pigs depopulated, Dar said only one-third were found positive with the ASF virus. Under the 1710 protocol, the government culls all pigs within the 1-kilometer radius of the affected farm, while the movement of pork and pork products within 7 kilometers is limited. The 1710 protocol is being implemented in Rodriguez Rizal, Antipolo, Quezon City, and Giginto, Bulacan, which recorded ASF positive hogs. Meanwhile, a boodle fight was held at Manila City Hall to show the public that eating pork in the Philippines is safe. Dar thanked Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno for his immediate action in eliminating illegal meat in the city. The Philippine National Police has recalled the security detail for Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Director General Aaron Aquino, and a lawmaker wants Grab to shoulder the cost of customers' canceled orders. More on this from Joyce Cudis.
The Philippine National Police on Monday said it recalled the security detail of PDEA Director Aaron Aquino to augment to policemen who will be deployed for the country's hosting of the Southeast Asian Games. PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde said Aquino's security details consist of 15 policemen from the Central Luzon Regional Police are believed to have been retained after he retired from the service as Director of Region 3. Albayalde said that based on PNP rules, only the Police Security Protection Group has the authority to provide police security escorts, and it should be a maximum of 2 policemen. In other news, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian on Sunday said he has filed a bill which seeks to transfer the risk of customer no-shows to ride-sharing company Grab Philippines. This following an incident where a Grab food delivery man was allegedly forced to sell 13 unclaimed orders of milk tea due to a customer no-show. In a Twitter post, Gatchalian said aside from the bill, he has also filed a resolution to investigate the incident. And good news to all senior citizens in Manila. Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso announced the City of Manila will allocate 800 pesos each for senior citizens who will be celebrating their birthday. Mayor Isko signs Ordinance 8570, which mandates the distribution of birthday gifts to Manila residents who are at least 60 years old. The ordinance shall take place in 2020. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Goodies.
Still to come, indigenous peoples accuse the CPP-NPA of corrupting sacred native words for their own use. Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority orders the foreclosure of its popular Ocean Adventure theme park. More on this when the PNA Newsroom continues.
The Philippines thanks Singapore for leading the 3G process and convening this dialogue with the G20 Troika. The engagement of the 3G with the G20 is crucial in advocating for a more effective, accountable, and inclusive framework of global governance, recognizing the impact that G20 decisions have on global economic and financial markets. The Philippines appreciates the G20 presidency of Japan for its efforts to achieve an openness, inclusivity, and sustainability of economic and social reforms that are centered on the Sustainable Development Goals. Special mention must be made of Japan's priorities in innovation and the provision of international public goods such as global healthcare and quality infrastructure as they resonate with our development priorities. On the outcome of the Osaka Summit, we commend the adoption of the G20 implementation framework on marine plastic litter to reduce the pollution and environmental and marine degradation causes. Plastic pollution is a real concern to a country like mine, which accounts for a great deal of it. There are serious moves to ban plastic, which might seem chaotic, but over the years, many bad habits have eliminated themselves through public campaigns. I wish to underline that the Philippines is one with 3G and emphasizing the need for G20 to align their aims and priorities with the 2030 agenda and consider the interests of developing countries in its work. Thank you very much.
Aside from committing atrocities and abuses against indigenous peoples, the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army or CPP-NPA and its allies are also parties to corrupting words sacred to the IPs. National Commission on Indigenous Peoples head Allen Capuyan made a statement before the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland. Capuyan cited specific cases of indigenous words corrupted by the CPP-NPA. Among them are Bagani, a word signifying tribal defense and law enforcement, which was used to name armed units. Salugpungan, which signifies protection of the ancestral domain, but now refers to training schools for child warriors that double as funding sources, and Pantaron, a word signifying sacred place and paradise, but used to refer to NPA camps and headquarters. Capuyan said such actions by the CPP-NPA should be condemned because they are in violation of the IP rights. He also reaffirmed the Philippines' strong commitment to the promotion and preservation of indigenous languages.
To the promotion and preservation of indigenous languages, as this is integral in recognizing and respecting the identity, culture, and customs of our indigenous peoples. The rights of the indigenous peoples to education is enshrined in the Philippine Constitution and the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act of 1997.
Motorists get a sigh of relief as several oil companies welcomed October with price cuts on their products effective 6 a.m. on Tuesday. In an advisory, Petron and Shell announced price rollbacks at 1 peso and 45 centavos per liter for gasoline, 60 centavos for diesel, and 1 peso for kerosene. Sea Oil implemented a similar rollback on Monday. Petrogas slashes gasoline price by 1.55 per liter and diesel by 50 centavos per liter. PTT Philippines products prices went down by 1.45 per liter and diesel by 60 centavos per liter. These adjustments are in line with developments in the international oil market. Meanwhile, Petron jacked up prices of liquefied petroleum gas by 4 pesos and 50 centavos per kilogram and auto LPG by 2.50 per liter effective Tuesday midnight. The price adjustment reflects the international contract price of LPG for the month of October. On to some business headlines now. Subic's popular theme park, Ocean Adventure, and its related facilities are set to be repossessed by the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority. SBMA Chair Wilma Eisma on Friday said the agency has served a notice of pre-termination of contract to the Subic Bay Marine Exploratorium Incorporated, which operates the marine theme park complex. Aside from its failure to comply with its contract, the SBMEI committed violations like illegal subleasing of property, constructing without permits, improper storing of waste, and closing public roads. The company also has arrears of about 25 million pesos on its payment scheme, as well as 7 million pesos on its current billing. Eisma explained that the SBMEI has failed to correct its violations. The SBMEI property covers 11.6 hectare development area that includes the Ocean Adventure Park, Camayan Beach, and the newly opened Adventure Water Park. The Ocean Adventure Park started operations in 2000. The Department of Health in Region 11 will conduct multiple rounds of polio immunization in Davao Region. The campaign, dubbed as Sabayang Patak Kontra Polio, would ensure that all children 5 years old and below will receive 3 doses of oral polio vaccine and 1 dose of inactivated polio vaccine to get protection against the polio virus. The first round of vaccination will be from October 14 to 27 in Davao City and in Davao del Sur. The second round will be on November 25 to December 7, while the third round will be from January 6 to 18, 2020. Both rounds will cover all provinces in Davao Region and all regions in Mindanao. The DOH has urged parents to submit their children for vaccination. They are targeting nearly 600,000 children in Region 11 below 5 years old for polio vaccination. Commuters in several provinces were reported to be barely affected by the nationwide transport strike on Monday as majority of PUJ drivers continued operations. More on this from Joyce Cudis.
Public utility jeepneys in the province of Antique continued to ply the streets amid the nationwide transport strike on Monday. The United Belisan Jeepney Operators and Drivers Association said that they waited for instructions but did not receive any from Transport Group Piston. Various local associations of jeepney operators and drivers also decided not to join the strike in view of leadership issues in their organizations. Meanwhile, almost no one among the operators and drivers in Cagayan Valley participated in the announced nationwide transport strike. The Land Transportation Office said the operations of jeeps and other transport utilities have been normal. This even as PUJ operators and drivers led by Baston Cagayan Valley Chapter are protesting the government's public transport modernization program. In Cebu, the Metro Cebu Transport Group's rally in support of the nationwide strike failed to cripple transportation. Local government units here deployed buses and trucks to ferry passengers to their destinations, as mayors in the cities of Cebu, Mandaue, Lapu-Lapu, and Talisay did not declare suspension of classes. A private company also deployed buses for commuters in Mandaue. In other news, the LTFRB Region 10 lauded transport groups that did not join Monday's nationwide strike. The LTFRB said this showed that drivers and operators of public utility vehicles in the region have already embraced the government's modernization program. It said the government is not intimidated by protest actions of transport groups, as it is bent on implementing modernization by next year. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Joyce Goodies.
More stories from the newsroom. Malacanang calls on all government bodies to support the Philippines' hosting of the 10th Asean Para Games. And an upcoming art installation in Bacolod showcases 40 years of the Mascara Festival. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom.
Secretary Martin Andanar. He was already previously a Man of Influence awardee. He's on stage this year to receive the Most Effective Communicator Award.
This is Secretary Martin Andanar, and you're watching.
President Rodrigo Duterte has directed the government to support the Philippine hosting of the 10th ASEAN Para Games. Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea signed Memorandum Circular Number 67, ordering all government bodies to support the Philippine Sports Commission and the Philippine Paralympic Committee in the preparation, organization, and hosting of the event. Local government units, non-government organizations, the private business sector, educational institutions, and the general public are also encouraged to help ensure the successful conduct of the event. The ASEAN Para Games is a biennial multi-sport event organized by the ASEAN Para Sports Federation for athletes with physical, visual, or intellectual disabilities. The new Clark City Sports Complex will serve as the main venue of the ASEAN Para Games, which the country will host for the 4th time this year. Around 2,000 residents of Liloan, Cebu on Sunday availed of services from a medical and civic action mission of Army reservists in partnership with the municipal government. Reservist doctors provided free minor surgeries to 15 patients from Catarman and its neighboring villages in Liloan and attended to some 1,400 townsfolk. Meanwhile, the Department of Health in Central Visayas assisted in providing free tooth extraction. Also, the Department of Agriculture conducted a free lecture on urban gardening and distribution of seedlings of fruit-bearing plants. Mayor Maria Esperanza Cristina Frasco and her husband, Cebu 5th District Representative Duke Frasco, vowed to assist in future medical missions by providing free medicines. Other services were storybook reading for children, distribution of hygiene kits, free massage therapy, and free haircut. Colonel Jerry Borja, Chief of Task Group Cebu, Bohol, and Siquijor, said that medical missions conducted by the reservists have helped so much in the AFP's mission of winning the hearts and minds of the people. A look at our top global stories. North Korea on Monday asked the United States to drop its hostile policy against the reclusive regime. At the general debate of the United Nations General Assembly, North Korea's UN Ambassador Kim Song said the key towards peace and development in the Korean Peninsula is the full implementation of the North Korea-US joint statement adopted in 2018. Kim said the historic inter-Korean declarations, which greatly excited Koreans, as well as the international community a year ago, are now in a standstill. Kim blamed the slow progress on what he called the political and military provocations perpetrated by Washington. He said the improvement of inter-Korean relations can only be achieved when South Korea stops depending on big foreign powers and implement its declarations in good faith. Homegrown artist RJ Lacson is unveiling an art installation depicting 40 years of the world-renowned Mascara Festival on October 6 at the fountain area of the Bacolod Government Center. The installation, dubbed the Ruby Edition, Looking Back and Moving Forward, will be a series of statements in the 40 years of the festival that has tried to define what mascara is. Lacson said it will give a glimpse on how the festival has showcased different artists and choreographers that gave the festival its sensibilities and uniqueness. One of the most anticipated events of the festival, this year's street and arena dance competitions, will be held on October 26 and 27. A total of 11 schools will compete on the first day, which is a Saturday. On Sunday, the barangay competition will feature 14 villages, including defending champion Barangay Tangub. This year's festivity-themed Bacolod City of Smiles will run from October 7 to 27. As it capped its celebration of September as National Peace Consciousness Month, Task Force Bangon Marawi expressed its commitment to build up peace by providing livelihood to those affected by armed conflict. Sweet Lukman has the story.
A commitment of support to promote peace by providing various livelihood interventions and assistance to the affected communities has been advanced by the Task Force Bangon Marawi and its partner agencies during the culmination program of the National Peace Consciousness Month celebration. In his message, TFBM Field Office Manager Assistant Secretary Felix Castro Jr. said, "Peace starts with us. Isa isip, isa puso natin ang kapayapaan." The Peace Month culmination program was also capped by the distribution of starter cloths and kits to some 260 recipients by the Department of Trade and Industry. Moreover, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, distributed a set of garden tools, each with 17 packs of assorted vegetable seeds and farming tools such as trowel, bolo, rake, hoe, and shovel to 7 farmer cooperatives. The World Food Program, United Nations Development Program, and Community and Family Services International vowed to support the rehabilitation and recovery of the war-torn city. The WFP also conducted a payout through its cash-based transfer program to 176 farmer and fisherfolk beneficiaries. This project is completed by farm inputs from Mafar Barm and other agriculture agencies. The Taiwan government, through the World Vision Taiwan, also turned over rice donation for the affected residents through the Department of Social Welfare and Development. The distribution has begun targeting the 660 families in Boganga Lake View Shelter. Farmer cooperatives displayed their agriculture products, while the beneficiaries of DSWD's Livelihood Settlement Grant and CFSI also displayed their crafts. For PNA Newsroom, Sweet Lukman, Philippine Information Agency.
Meanwhile, here is the latest in our community billboard. The DV Boer Farm, popularly known as the People's Farm, will conduct an installation of the second batch of artificial coral reefs in the coasts of Balayan, Batangas on October 8. It will also launch its dairy products on October 9. About 200 kids, each from Farmer One Ranch, La Granja de Ceres Farm, and DV Boer Farm, will receive milk which will be distributed by the Miss Earth 2019 candidates. Meanwhile, international experts from 17 countries will share their uniqueness with the Filipino at the Speak in Manila 2. These professionals will talk and answer why public speaking is critical to business success, especially if a company or a consultant wants to make it big in the international arena. The Speak in Manila 2 will be held at the Shangri-La Hotel in Makati on October 4, 2019. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. Alleged drug queen Gia Gomez Castro has fled to the United States, according to NCIP Chief Guillermo Eleazar. Indigenous peoples accuse the CPP-NPA of corrupting sacred native words for their own use. And Malacanang calls on all government bodies to support the Philippines' hosting of the 10th Asean Para Games. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Bench Bondok. Good day.